new that have never been done before.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route to do. We the people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited.
Well, howdy and good morning, folks. Yeah, it's Monday night and Tuesday morning. I know. Mondays are a very bad day for me for a variety of reasons. And yesterday I was struggling with this computer. Just a bit. Only a little bit. A bit frustratingly, but just a bit. Anyway, Vince, marvelous man. God love him. Without him, I would be useless. Well, probably people are suggesting I'm probably fairly useless even with him. But without him, I wouldn't have been here now. So thank you, mate, for your help. I've been working pretty hard on an edit, something I filmed recently, and it's got to go up for somebody else. So that was my struggle. I was working on that all weekend and was meant to be out yesterday. And then all this didn't want to play. So anyway, we move on. How's your weekend? I hope you had a good one. I hope life, the universe, and everything goes well. Paul, good to have you in, mate. Lovely to see you. First in the house, too, along with Scotty. Scotty on news. Where are you these days, Scott? You still in southeast Queensland or central Queensland or north Queensland, or have you moved on to somewhere else in the world? Were you ever in those places? I might have you confused with another Scott, but there we go. Hello, Deb. Lovely to see you, too. And yeah, of all the things I was going to listen to this morning, I wasn't on the list. Well, I'm glad you feel it's a nice surprise. So pleased about that. Liverpool, Scotty. Oh, well, you're a little bit chilly down south there, mate. Morning, Ascot. Nice to see you too. Yeah, moaning is about what it is this morning. Apparently, it's going to start raining here today, which I'm looking outside and I can see that we've certainly been well endowed when it comes to spray over the last couple of days. And that doesn't help. I've got a pair of, well, in fact, I was very fortunate. Friday? I was very fortunate Friday. I think it was Friday. I found a place that had $20 jeans. So I bought 2 pairs of $20 jeans. Now, the problem when you've got a body that is as fit and as taut and as fantastic as mine is that when you buy yourself a pair of jeans, there is a second fee that goes on top. And that fee turns out to be $35 to go and get about that much of the leg taken off the bottom of those pants. Anyway, I've washed them. They're sitting out there and they'll never get dry, so they won't be getting clean today. G'day, Jake. Nice to see you in too. Vape King, good to have you in the house. All right, let's get into it and see what there is happening over. Well, I was going to talk about a few things yesterday, had the machine work. So this is basically yesterday's show this morning, and we'll have another one tonight to see how everybody gets along. We are, be remiss of me not to say so, we are running draw number 5. In our lottery to help give you $750 or a 1 gram bar of Ainslie Bullion. That's a minted bar, very, very pleasant little minted bar. Let me see. Oh, look, I won't get it out. I'll show you. It's probably a bit easier if I show you it here because that's what it looks like. It's a truly beautiful little piece of gold. And 1 gram, I haven't looked it up today, but I'm going to say pretty close to $200 worth of gold. So, if you would like that or a chance at $750, then all you've got to do is go to our lottery and spend $2 on a ticket. You can buy a maximum of 20 tickets in the draw, and we would love to have you in it. There's been, I think we've sold about 100 already. The winner of draw number 4 has asked to stay anonymous, which is quite fair, and just like to offer congratulations, and I hope you enjoy doing whatever it is you would like to do with your $750. It's always a nice little surprise when we get a few through. So there you go. We've sold 80 tickets so far, and as the lottery says this time round, it will be 2 winners. $750 will go to the first one drawn out, so to speak, And the 1 gram of Ainslie Bullion minted gold will go to the second person. If you want, I'm posting up the link in the chat right about now. Now, let's go back to Friday. We ended the show last Friday with the tale of a dickhead. What a dickhead it was. This is the dickhead in particular. Now, this dickhead was seen on the Duke's Highway, which is, well, essentially the South Australian border to Adelaide, put it that way. And he was followed by one of our family members' mates in a tow truck. And that's why we have these pictures. This is a picture of the bloke driving this truck being right over on the other side of the road. That van that you can see that's coming towards it on the right-hand side had to get off the road completely. And it was one of 5 vehicles that were pushed off the road while this truck was travelling between Bordertown and Tailem Bend, heading for Adelaide. Now, it was loaded with steel and all different sorts of steel, from Rio sheets to pipes to all sorts of stuff. That made it a very heavy load. And you can get a bit of an idea of the... Oh, well, no, we won't get into it. At any rate, this is what the fellow was doing. Now, according to eyewitnesses at the time, that truck driver was all over the road, 5 vehicles off the road. He collected a 4-wheel drive, took the side mirror off the 4-wheel drive. How lucky do you have to be? Now, this means a great deal to me, this particular piece of road, this particular kind of bullshit. I lost 3 very, very close family friends and one of their daughters in a car accident on that piece of highway some years ago. There was a truck driver who was doing the right thing. And unfortunately, there was some car drivers coming the other way from Adelaide heading towards Melbourne who were, for whatever reason, slaloming in and out of traffic. They were zigzagging through it all. And the guy driving tried to zig in behind this truck as it had gone past him. It was a car carrier, and he collected the back end of it. And the girls, my friends, were in the car that was following the truck. And he got basically punted straight into their vehicle. And 3 girls that I'd grown up with and one of their daughters died instantly. So I feel quite strongly about dickheads on that particular bit of road. And when I drive that particular bit of road, I stop at the place where they died. There are 4 crosses on the side of the road. So thankfully, this bastard got caught. And it turns out that this fella is not, well, he's everything we thought he was. So police appeal for witnesses. They're looking for more information on this bloke. If you've got a dash cam, please send it to them. About 3 o'clock last Friday, police were notified of a white Volvo B-double prime mover being driven erratically on the northwesterly direction on the Dukes. It's alleged that the truck travelled between Bordertown and Tailem Bend, was observed crossing over the centre line and narrowly avoided colliding with oncoming traffic. Members of the Heavy Vehicle Enforcement Unit located the truck and the driver at Jeps Cross. That's in Adelaide. Now, they'd actually located him before that. He was at the OTR at Tailem Bend. The OTR is the big BP service station there. And he was blocked in by the tow truck driver, the fellow who took this photo. So he couldn't get out. And then he rang again the police and the National Heavy Vehicle Mob, and they eventually turned up at the OTR. Strangely, they let this bloke continue. So they followed him from the OTR to Jeps Cross, and as a result, they arrested him. He's 26 years old. He is an Indian, and I dare say he'll probably be on a plane home real soon. Police are seeking anyone who may have witnessed that incident, and particular if you have your own dash cam footage or other footage of it between 2 and 4 last Friday, please get a hold of the South Australian Police. There is a reference number there, 211134, and this bastard needs to go. Well, that's bloody strange, isn't it? I don't know what happened there, folks. I don't know if it's my computer. I don't know if it's something else, but weird. I should go back and start again. Where did we get up to? Because I had actually started or restarted, and ridiculous. All right, well, we're back, folks. We're back, slowly but surely. I'll try and get an idea of where we got up to. No sound? Surely you've got sound. Maybe you just don't have me now. 1, 2, 3. Yep, there's sound. Okay, so are we hearing me now? Am I back? Yes, I'm back. Weird shit. I told you I'm having trouble with this computer, so something weird's going on there for sure. My apologies, folks. I do so much apologize. All right, let's go back to where I was. Did we cover? Well, I'll go back to where I was talking about Zelensky and Trump, I think is where I was up to. You may not have got that far. We did talk stillbirths. I think we probably got to that point, did we? Did we talk about pardons and the pardons of Biden being reviewed, so to speak? It looks like all of those pardons will be taken off those who receive them, which will be a good thing. I just slip back to the chats. Let's see. Have we been past that? Yep, have both of those. Righto. No stillbirth. Oh, okay. Righto. All right. Well, let's have a look at this then. This is bloody horrifying. Stillbirths are up in this country hugely. And of course, there is a reason for it. You know the reason for it, don't you? I won't say it here because you know what YouTube will do. But stillbirths are going through the roof. It is a devastating time. And once again, I have some experience with this, not personally, thankfully, but with friends of mine who had a stillbirth at 9 months of age. And everything was going perfectly. There are reasons for this happening, and most of them have to do with this, as we all know. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, I don't know that there's much can be done. And I've spoken to a doctor over the weekend. A doctor. He used to be a doctor. He's not anymore because they took his license off him. But he's 100% confident that these stillbirth rates, which have gone up exponentially in the last 2-3 years, are entirely linked to the spicy dart. When will people start to wake up? I really don't know. We live in hope. Biden pardon already done. Here's an interesting one. How do you know John Brennan, Hillary Clinton are worried? Because they both said President Trump should get the Nobel Peace Prize in the last 24 hours. That's the first positive thing they've ever said. 100%. And here we are back again. Zelensky and Trump, and this is the bit I think we probably all missed out on before. Zelensky and Trump have just met in the last few hours in Washington, D.C. That's on the back of his meeting with President Putin in Alaska, in Anchorage, on Saturday morning, our time. I thought that was a pretty interesting meeting, just between you, me, and the gatepost. The Air Force One turns up. The president wanders down the red carpet like a drunken slob. See him weaving down through there, but he just, I think, was enjoying the walk. And then there was a T intersection with another red carpet coming from the Russian president's aircraft. He arrived about 15 or 20 minutes after Trump. And they met. They're walking up the red carpet. They're overflown by a B-2 bomber and a couple of other stealth aircraft. And they make their way off to their meeting, which apparently goes pretty well. Now, what were they discussing? The carving up of Ukraine? Well, maybe, but maybe not. I think there might have been a lot of other discussions going on. There's no point carving up Ukraine. Russia owns it all. And if they want it, they'll take it. It's that simple. It's what they're prepared to give back. Now, I don't think that Putin wants to take over all of Ukraine. I do think Putin wants to protect those Russians living in that border region, the Donetsk region. He wants them brought back in under Russia's protection. And I think that area is definitely going to go back under Russian control. I think they will also get some land in other places. Might be the Crimea, but it's going to be a significant win for Russia if you're going to look at it that way. And for Zelensky, well, he got invited to Washington today, and he turned up. Unlike Putin, who got to go for a ride in the Beast, that's the US president's car, and I would love to have been a fly on the inside of that. How would you be? I mean, Zelensky has a ZIL, I think, not Zelensky, Putin has a ZIL in Russia. And it's an armoured vehicle and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think the design of them has changed too much since the 1950s. I wonder what he thought when he got into the Beast, with doors that are this thick. And, oh, look, if you push this button, this is a great car, Vladimir. This is a great car. If you push this button, 15 Secret Service agents pop out from under the seats. And if you open up this door, there's a rocket launcher. Because there's at least three rocket launchers inside the Beast. And a whole heap of other shit. So you wouldn't want to approach that vehicle. Apparently it has claymores around it too. I don't know how the hell they'd mount them in a car, but it'd be a burst panel on the side of the car, I suppose. But don't go near that, I would suggest. That would be a bit of fun. Anyway, Zelensky arrives, doesn't get a ride in the Beast, doesn't even get met at the airport by anybody of any particular governmental rank. Do they send the Beast for him? No, they don't. They sent an F-250. Okay, it was probably a Secret Service F-250, so it may have been armoured to a certain extent. Maybe had bulletproof glass. But he turned up by himself at the White House. Nobody greeted him as he got out of the car. He was just led into the White House. So there was no formal greeting. There was no this, that, or the other. They did have their meeting, and this time around, I think they managed to plan it correctly. You might remember in February, the meeting that Zelensky and Trump had didn't go too well. J.D. Vance, I thought, put himself up very, very well for his presidential run, which might come at the end of this Trump reign. You never know. Met by the gardener, I think Paul says. Yeah, absolutely. Zelensky's got nothing to trade and was told so. You have no cards. You cannot trade anything. You've got nothing in your hand. So he was pretty much told, we're going to figure it out. You're going to come to the table and you're going to agree to it. I suggest that's what he was told. Then they let him out the back door, presumably into the F-250, and he was on his way. However, Zelensky is only a little boy. He's not capable of getting his way to Washington, D.C. by himself, apparently. He brought with him a whole trove of European leaders who all got to have a meeting with Trump after that. Zelensky wasn't there. Wouldn't you like to know what they were told? I think we can guess what will happen. They were told, this is what's going to happen. If you don't like it, bad luck. And we won't be paying anything to you any further. They are trying desperately to save. I was going to say breathe air back into, but save is probably a better way of describing what's going on with NATO at the moment. NATO is being destroyed from within and from without. And they know it. NATO in and of itself has nothing. It only has what is donated to it or given to it by its member nations. And the largest member nation that donates is America. Now, the UK have upped their rate recently, and so too have the Germans. The Germans have been contributing a lot of the hardware for this Ukrainian offensive, and a lot of the technology in certain aspects of the warfare, I believe, has been designed in Germany as well. So the Germans have got well behind because they thought the rest of Europe was going to get well behind Zelensky. But the rest of Europe, not so much. The French, they always get brave after a while until they don't. And then the UK. Outside of that, there isn't a great deal of financial or military support pouring into Ukraine from anywhere else. In fact, there's more opposition coming from some of those states around Ukraine who really have no time for Zelensky and co. So what's going to be the breakup? I think the breakup will be the Donetsk region will go back to Russia and be protected by Russia. And that is, I believe, quite rightly so, because Zelensky has been attacking that area. That's what this whole thing started over. He was systematically murdering Russians in that part of Ukraine, which still identified as Russian. So there was some ethnic cleansing going on there under Zelensky's rule, and that's why Putin came back in. It was also a pretty good cover for the other reasons. They wanted to get into those DUMs. They wanted to get into those secret biolabs that were scattered across the Ukrainian border, and they did. They got everything out of them, and including some very damning videos, some very damning documents, and we will see more of those, I believe, down the track. How far down the track, who the hell knows? But sooner rather than later, I would hope, would be the way it would come. Having a bit of a glance here and seeing what else I've got here to talk about. Because it's the time of morning it is, 20 to 8, and people have got to go to work and do things. I'm not going to go for long here. So I'll skip a few things and I'll jump to the end, but I want you to see this because one of you sent it to me. Thank you, Sunflower, you wonderful, wonderful woman. She sent me a lettuce. Pretty cool, hey? This lettuce is looking its absolute best, as you can see there, on August the 2nd. A beautiful, beautiful, healthy-looking lettuce. This is the lettuce on the 18th of August, 16 days later. This to this. Here's a banana and a pear that are a week old, like that. What the hell are they spraying on our food? Seriously. Now, Sunflower, when she sent me those, sent a little text that said, my granddaughter wouldn't eat the lettuce. How smart is that little girl? How smart. Thank God. So I'm going to put out a little bit of a call, folks. I'm really interested to see how long our food's lasting. You know, our fresh veg, particularly. Stuff that should be rotting very quickly isn't. Lettuce. Can't believe it. I have some bananas I've got over here I'm looking at now. Now, I've had those bananas for a week, and they've only just started to spot. Now, I don't know if that's... They weren't green when I got them, so I'm wondering if that's sort of part of it too. Anyway, we'll have to see. I'm going to have to learn how to make banana cake. That'll be the only thing. There are a couple of stupid things I'll wrap up with here today. We all know that people at the moment are identifying as all sorts of different things. Actually, no, I'm not going to get into that just yet. I'm going to mention something else. I'm a bit disgusted in some of the antics going on in Melbourne at the moment and some of the power plays that are being played out and the bullying that is being meted out by Avi and his Jewish friends to businesses in Melbourne. Now, there was a woman who ran a hairdressing salon, owned a hairdressing salon, who decided after hearing that somebody sitting in a chair was Jewish, she didn't want to cut their hair. She abused them, admittedly, genocidal maniac or some bloody thing she called them, and threw them out of the salon. Be that as it may, right or wrong, that person has obviously gone back and told whoever the Jews go to tell, oh, somebody did something to me. And then Avi has turned up. Avi's decided to make an appointment to get his hair cut. That didn't go down well. So then Avi and, I don't know, what looked to be about 50 other Jewish people turned up on the front doorstep of this hairdressing business and closed it. One of the Jewish gentlemen talking to Avi was very proud of the fact that the owner of the building was getting rid of the tenant. He supported the Jewish people and he was going to throw the tenant out. That's pretty much what Hitler did to the Jews in 1933, 34, 35, 36, and 37. In 38, he started killing them. Why are the Jews using the Nazi tactics that we used on them? Why is it okay for Avi to get a screaming Jewish mob out the front of some hairdresser salon with, I don't know the age of the hairdresser inside, could be a 20-something, 30, 40, 50-something, I don't know. But it's her business. She has a right to decide whose hair she cuts. And if she decides she doesn't like you for whatever reason, she doesn't have to cut your hair. And it should not mean she should lose her business. But I know. Here is a classic example of Avi and a wild mob of outraged Jews turning up and bullying a business shut. Is that the kind of support you want? Is that the kind of thing we support here in Australia? What about a fair go, mate? What about toughen up, princess? Disgusting, Avi. Absolutely disgusting that you would get a raving mob and you would stop someone's business. Congratulations on emulating Hitler and what he did to your people back in the 30s. Absolutely fucking disgusted. Thought better of you. Maybe you should go out and join these dickheads. Here's a Colorado man mauled to death after joining a Wyoming wolf pack dressed as a furry. Yeah, people go out, dress themselves up as puppies. He didn't die, I think. He got mauled pretty solidly. He was trying to assimilate into the wolf pack, but he's a furry. There's something you can go and protest about, Avi. Why don't you have a go about that? Or this. Here's a bloke who identifies as an F-250. He got killed, run over on the road. The levels of stupidity, folks, that are happening in this world never cease to amaze me. But we do continue. Dickheads on the road, they are everywhere, folks. We'll talk more about them tonight. Have yourself a good day.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's rock!